Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Season Ticket Holders. I'm your host, Dane Lillingstone, and back again by popular demand, our returning guest here. He's very happy. He's a Broncos member, so still celebrating up there in Brisbane. Very happy man, Broncos fan, Aidan Mathews. Welcome back to the show, mate. How are you?
I'm good, Dane. How are you? Thanks for having me be back.
Yeah, mate. I know it's I haven't caught up with you at least on the podcast, but still celebrating the grand final win or what, mate?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like for me, it still hasn't. I'm just waiting for that time where it feels like it hits. You know what I mean? Like it still doesn't feel. I feel like it hasn't fully hit yet, but obviously I'm very happy.
Have you rewatched the game?
Couple times, but
In full?
not full. I watch a KO mini probably like a few times. Dude, that night after we won, get home after celebrating, I probably was on like Instagram for like 2-3 hours, just like so much content, bro. So all the stories from the boys, like Ricky asking for Buzz's number, like just
Classic.
So much going on. It was so good. I loved it.
Yeah, I got to say, I was the same the next day after. I was just literally searching 1 to 17, every single player on their Instagram, just to try and get any bit of content out of the celebrations, and it lived up to it, mate. I'm actually yet to fully watch a replay, but I'm saving that for a rainy day sometime soon, and I can't wait, mate.
When you come back to Brizzy, I'll watch it with you.
Let's do it. Let's get around the campfire, mate, and a few beers, and let's do it with the boys. Now, Aidan, International Rugby League is back, mate. After 22 years, the Ashes returned to Wembley, of all places, a real historic ground in London, in England. Now, they got a crowd of 60,812 people now, which I believe is the biggest ever crowd for an Ashes match. Obviously, it's great to see that many people turning out to rugby league. I was looking at numbers before. I think the Australia-New Zealand final in England about 10 years ago got 70,000+ at Manchester. But just the fact that they did get that many people, the return of the Ashes, obviously England supporting their home crowd, their hometown team, and they did put up a fight. But we'll get into it. We will break this game down. They did put up a fight in that first half, albeit Australia were pretty sloppy. But just from the outset, what were your initial thoughts? Were you excited the Ashes are back? Were you glad to see it back? As rugby league fans that we both are, what were your feelings about the whole concept?
I was excited. Not I don't know, because we're so much stronger than England. Like, I was almost looking more forward towards like the Tonga Samoa clash, but obviously I love watching Australia as well. It was also like good to see, I was excited about seeing Reece Walsh in action again, because the way he finished the season, incredible. Probably best run of form of all time, maybe up there with Turbo. Yeah. Because he won the premiership, though, like surely that adds a bit of weight to it.
I was going to say the Turbo was 2021, right? He had that incredible season. He broke tackles left, right, and center, and it was consistent. That's probably the only difference I would say. But you're right, it didn't include the finals. They ended up getting knocked out a week or two before the grand final.
Yep.
But Reece Walsh, if you're just taking, I don't know, the final third, the final quarter of the competition, and including finals, and now if you're going to include internationals, one of the greatest runs we'll ever see, right?
Yep. All post toilet water. Like that was the moment. Toilet water happened. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what was in that toilet water, but it was great. Whatever it was.
It's like
yeah.
Remember Space Jam when I can't remember who it was.
Dude.
They gave him the water that didn't actually have anything in it.
Secret Juice. Michael Jordan's Secret Juice or whatever.
Secret Juice.
I think that's what it's called.
Secret Juice. That might be a movie you've watched. No, it was no. Yeah, I can't remember. Was it Bugs? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe that's what it was. Space Jam was toilet water. They figured it all out. But Reece Walsh did figure it out, mate. Incredible one. And then for him to have his Kangaroos debut in front of 60,000, they're already saying, Walsh mania over there, because I know I saw. He was out there. He was one of the last ones out there, of course, in his underwear. Very cool, mate. He was wearing the original Broncos logo underwear. If you look real closely, which I obviously just did before I got on there. He's wearing the old, he's wearing the old, that Broncos, the classic logo on the undies. I want to get some of them. Budgie Smugglers, mate. They look mad. And I saw a little girl with the sign, Walsh and everything. So even over in England, And now to do what he did, scored that first try, man of the match, 2 tries in the end, had that try assist disallowed with that flick pass. And just incredible to watch, mate. I mean, were we surprised?
Uh, I was surprised with how poorly Australia played, to be honest, but I wasn't surprised with Walsh's performance. It was like a classic Walsh performance. First at the start, throws the ball over the sideline, makes another error, maybe, I think. But
I think
then
he ended up with, I looked at NRL.com before, I think he ended up with 3 for the game, I want to say, errors. So it wasn't a perfect game by any means.
it wasn't, but like that's what some people say. Like Walsh has a memory of goldfish. Like straight away, throws a crazy pass, does the next crazy play. Like it doesn't phase him if he messes it up because he knows he's going to execute the next one. So it's so good to see, to be honest. Like, yeah.
2 tries, 243 running meters, 5 tackle breaks. Like I said, it was 3 errors in there as well. And he did that try disallowed to Angus Crichton, I believe, in the first half. Threw a little nice flick pass. That would have been just another cherry on top. But, mate, absolutely incredible performance. I didn't ask you at the beginning, but you did tell me, we could be honest, but you did set your alarm, but you didn't make it, did you? You had to watch the replay. Is that right?
Yeah, so I was pretty tired. I can't really remember why I was so tired, but I set my alarm for 11 because I was cooked and woke up. It woke me up, and then just chucked Fox Sports on, and basically
Shout out to my employer.
yeah, there you go. And then 10 minutes later, I was asleep. I was gone. So
Getting older, mate. We're getting older.
yeah, unfortunately. And yeah, but I did watch the replay in the morning. It wasn't as good as watching live, but to be up, like, at least I got to watch the whole thing still. So, but yeah, it was pretty good hit out. But yeah,
I was going to say, I didn't get to watch it live either because I had to work at 4 in the morning. I did get to watch the replay later. But it was by all means an exciting first half, at least, because, well, at least as far as the scorelines involved, extended to 8-0 late in the game after late in the half rather, after Reece Walsh's opening try. Nathan Cleary kicks the penalty, and it did open up towards the back end of the game. But Australia, the one thing I did note down was 15 errors. They only ended up completing at 66%. They're not going to be happy with that. Some individual brilliance. Reece Walsh had a big hand. Angus Crichton had some really nice runs, 2 tries apiece to those 2 boys. But you're right, man. Like, it wasn't a great performance by any means. And is that scary for England, considering the score still was what it was, 26-6 in the end? If Australia completes, 80 plus like they should be, scary prospect for England heading into game 2.
definitely. I think if we complete at 85% or 80+%, this could have been like a 50+ game, to be honest. And I think part of it, I don't understand why England didn't pick the best team. Like you have Brimo there. Why are you not picking Brimo? Like at the very
Insane.
least on the bench. Like he's so good. But
AJ Brimson, 18th man, when I saw that, I think they probably overthought it, right? Or maybe, I don't know, he made the switch with the allegiance. I don't know if that plays into it by any means, but he's a Queensland State of Origin player. He could play anywhere. He's a great utility. At the very least, he can be a 14. But I don't think there's any doubt from any Australian rugby league fans that he should be in the 13, right?
oh, 100%. And what's crazy if you think about it, so look, if Brimson didn't make the switch, he probably would have played fullback Origin this year ahead of Walsh. Because remember, like Shibasaki got picked ahead of Walsh. I think if Brimo was there, we might have picked Brimo. And then look at like if you look at it now, it's like Walsh is well ahead, but it's just crazy how the season went.
No, you're right. That's a good point. And look, the first try for Angus Crichton, where the fullback Jack Wellesby, I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert, but mate, I don't know what the hell he was thinking to stand on his line. He's basically standing on the try line where Angus Crichton's charging at him. I know he could be worried about the support runner or whatever you want to call it, but what was he going to stop? What the hell was he going to stop by standing on the goal line and let Angus Crichton make all those meters, and then he scores like one of the easiest tries he's ever get? Just keeps running.
It was one of the weirdest things to see. Like he was just like rolled out the red carpet for him. He's like, come on, here you go. You just let him
Mate,
through.
shocking. I've seen better defense Oztag Tuesday nights mixed, bro.
Yeah. Not from you though, but
Hey, mate, I never stop running these little legs. Yeah, so, mate, just seeing that was a big sort of like, that probably summed up England's efforts. And I did think of something. I was like, are they a little bit scared or in shock or in awe of this championship Australian team headlined by Reece Walsh, who's the biggest rugby league star in the world right now? And they've got the likes of Cameron Munster and Nathan Clear and Harry Grant in their spine. And despite the defections of Payne Haas, you look at that forward pack and, mate, it's still up there with the very best. Isaiah Yeo obviously went down earlier with that HIA, but Angus Crichton, Hudson Young, Tina Fasua-Malauwi, Paddy Carrigan, then with Lindsay Collins, Ruben Cotter, and Keon Koloamatangi on the bench. I mean, it's still an imposing forward pack that can match it with Samoa, Tonga, whoever you want to be. Do you think there was a bit of that involved? Was a bit of mind games that the Australians get in their head? Are they a little bit too scared of this monster superstar Australian team?
I think there's probably a bit of that. Like, they probably know that they can't beat us, which is kind of sad. But also, I just think like Super League is just that tier below NRL, unfortunately. And they had what, like 3 NRL players in their team?
Yeah, so
Maybe?
I'll quickly go through it now
Yeah.
anyway, because we're gonna break down their team. Now they had Dominic Young and Herbie Farnworth on one edge. Dominic Young had a pretty indifferent season, but Herbie Farnworth, I said this on my previous podcast, he'd be the only player in the English team who would actually play in the Australian team. Like, he would be in the centres for Australia if he played for Australia, in my opinion. And he actually did have a very good game still. I was checking it out before. Still made 128 meters and still got 8 tackle breaks. So he was still hard to handle. No surprises there from Herbie Farnworth. But him and Dom Young, we've got George Williams, who was named in number 6. I always thought he'd be the key if England are going to be competitive. He obviously played for the Raiders a few years ago. He's going to be at the Dolphins in a couple of seasons again. John Bateman and Kai Pearce-Paul in the second row. So what's that? Four NRL players in the team. They obviously had AJ Brimson at 18th man.
Yeah. I still don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. But they did a lot of weird things. Like, I know Herbie killed it, but why would you move Herbie from the left to the right? Like, he's so good in his position. Maybe Jake Wardle doesn't play on the right at all, or is not versatile, but I guess Herbie shows his class anyway, that he can just do it wherever, but it's just some weird decisions personally. Definitely would have had Brimson probably fullback, if not in the center as well. Like, yeah.
Mate, I reckon after that performance, and, nothing against Jack Wellesby, but even from that one play, I mean, that's got to be just a danger sign, a red flag for me. And I think 100% you bring in AJ Brimson at one. I think George Williams is great. I think he can definitely do a job. I know they've talked about making some switches in their halves. By all means, go ahead. I think you can base it around George Williams because we know what he's done for the Raiders and he's up to that caliber. And the other one you said in the crazy decisions too was not picking their man of steel, right? Like, I don't know heaps of depth on that, but Jake Connor was their man of steel. By all reports, he's sort of like a utility player. He can fit in anywhere. They didn't even put him in their team. I know that caused a bit of headlines, at least here in Australia. I don't know what the English fans think about that, but that was an interesting one to begin with. And I think Kai Pearce-Paul was just about their best player in the second row, so no surprises there. And their bench, yeah, I mean, AJ Brimson, absolutely incredible decision, shocking decision
Yeah,
not
it
to have at
is.
least AJ on the bench, right? Like, that
Yeah.
just makes no sense at all. They've chosen all Super League players. I think they could have picked Morgan Smithies as well. They overlooked him for the Raiders.
And looking at their team, looking at the bench, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. So I assume Morgan Smithies could have done a better job.
Well, I mean, he was part of a minor premiership winning NRL team that made the second week of finals. So the fact they couldn't even find a spot for him on the bench, pretty crazy.
What about the other Raiders second rower? A cheapie, Supercoach cheapie this year. Nicholson, Matty Nicholson. He's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, right.
He's English.
Yeah, he looks English, definitely from the first photo on Google.
Well, so does
That
Hudson
bowl
Young,
cut.
but he's apparently Australian. So
That's true. I always thought Hudson Young was English, actually. Yeah, you're right. He has already been capped twice for England, Matty Nicholson, but I don't know if was he injured. I really don't know. I know he
Yeah, I'm
did
not
battle some
sure.
injuries, but he was back at the back end of the season. But yeah, you're right. Some NRL players that got overlooked, and the fact they went with those four. You'd think that I think there's no doubt they're making changes after that game. They're not going to be happy. I mean, they had opportunities too. I know they had a try disallowed midway through the second half, was it? Like they could have got over. Um, so that they did have some chances there. They could have closed the gap to maybe a two-try buffer. But that you'd think they have to make changes for this game, right? And where would you play AJ Brimson?
I'd have him a fullback. I don't know if you can move Jack Wellesby anywhere. Like I know they seem to love him.
Yeah, out of the team, you can move him.
Yeah, but like at a minimum, put AJ like 14 at a minimum, like because he can change the game.
Yeah.
Like I know they lost by 20 points, but it could have been so much worse for them. Like a lot worse.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's interesting. I mean, 4 tries doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, Nathan Cleary didn't miss a kick. They had a penalty, which made it look even bigger. But like we also mentioned earlier, Australia's not going to make 15 errors and only complete it 66%
No.
again, you'd think. This is their rusty game, the one they had to blow the cobwebs out. I reckon they went to the pub a few times with Kevy. Maybe not in the last few days, but certainly earlier in the trip, right? Like there would have been some bonding there. And they've never really played together like this. I mean, Reece Walsh is debuting. What was it, 4 debuting? Gemmet Shibisaki's never been there. They had their debutants throughout the team. You'd think they're only going to improve as this series goes on. Of course, there's still 2 more games to go. Let's get back to Australia, though, too. Isaiah Yeo obviously got knocked out early in the game. Who do you think comes in? I mean, we are recording this before team lists come out. We will find out very shortly. Who would you be bringing in?
I think it's either uh, Paddy Carrigan goes to lock or Ruben Cotter goes to lock, and then either Collins or Cotter go to prop to kind of fill that. I think it's pretty easy. I don't actually know who will come onto the bench.
The reports are that Lindsay Smith
Yeah,
will be the guy.
yeah, that makes sense. Like he's a good player. He's not like flashy, but he's just a workhorse. Just keeps going and going and going. Um, it's going to be interesting to see like how Cleary plays because I feel like without Isaiah Yeo, like to be honest, like I don't think he really did much at all in the game against England, like the first game. And I think Isaiah Yeo is almost the key for him. Like he somehow just gives him room with his passing game and
Unlocks him a bit.
unlocks him. Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be
That's a good point,
interesting
mate.
to see how he plays without him, which he basically did this game as well, but knowing he's without him the whole time.
It's actually, you raise a good point because Nathan Cleary and the systems they built at Penrith, whatever rep team he's been in, well, obviously in New South Wales, he is so used to having that Penrith connection, whether it's Jerome Luai, Brian To'o, Isaiah Yeo, those types of guys. But he's going to actually have none now that Isaiah Yeo's out, right? Yeah, I'm just looking through the team now. He's going to be the sole Panther. Well, obviously bringing in Lindsay Smith is different, but for the players that he's used to playing with at least, and those starting players, he's just not going to have that system, those shapes to run off that he's normally is. And Cameron Munster was definitely the better halves of the two. You'd agree? Like he had a hand in a couple tries. Looks like he's bounced back from that grand final loss. He was looking nice and lethal. Harry Grant was solid. And Nathan Cleary is probably, I mean, being harsh, but probably the weakest out of the spine.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like I'll give him a 5, and that's just because he kicked his goals. Really, like he didn't have a bad game, but he just didn't really do anything. Like he
Got smashed in the face. I saw an interview afterwards, and you could see through the game. I don't know if someone crushed his face, mate, but he got punched in there.
Yeah, he was looking like sexy Squidward. Like I don't know if you know him from SpongeBob, dude, but he was looking like him, bro.
That's for our SpongeBob fans out there, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's rough. So, but I mean, as far as everyone though, I mean, you basically roll out the same 17, only taking you out Isaiah Yeo. There's no real need to make any changes to this team. I guess there's no one really banging down the door, right?
No, not really. Like I think the one change you could look at, which I probably don't think he will do, is maybe Hudson Young out. Like I thought he was quite poor. Um, and you could probably start Keon or Cotter. Um, who else is in our like our whole squad? I don't actually know.
Yeah, I'll have to. The only name I've seen get thrown around as far as the replacement, Sorry, is Smith. So he's the only person that I've seen named, mentioned to come in. You've obviously got Mitchell Moses, Brabham Best. They were in the reserves originally. So, yeah, I don't know who you'd bring in, right? Unless it was a close game and, there's some crucial errors. I don't really think that'd be doing it all. I will just get into the second game, mate. And just on that first game too, airing on BBC, did read they had an average audience of 818,000, which is a 14.2% audience share. The game was watched by nearly 1 million people, peak audience of about 930,000. So that's on parity with probably just like a normal NRL game in Australia, but still good for England that the fact there is obviously a bit of interest there, right? To get 60,000 plus, to get that's airing on BBC One, that's pretty good result, I would say, for the return of the Ashes game one.
Yeah, to me that sounds like a massive win. Like I don't know what is a good number for UK and like rugby league because it's not a big market in the UK. But like
No, it's
those,
basically north of England, and really, if it wasn't played at Wembley with the Ashes, like London people, I don't think would care.
yeah, yeah. And to be honest, I think that's just a really good result. And I think NRL needs to buy Super League because if we get that product good and start capital, because like there's obviously a market there in the UK, but Super League is just not the best product currently. Or they just don't run it properly or something. Like something's not working. If we can utilize that, like I I think we could like it could be so good for rugby league in general.
Well, you've got Lockyer and the London Broncos now, right? Trying to get involved. I did see, though, they're not going to be included in next season of Super League, so they are going to have to try and fight their way back the year after. But to have a name like that involved, as we all know, being Broncos fans, that's big for them to see if they can get something. Obviously, there does need to be investment in Super League, because I think I read there was two teams who only averaged like 5,000 or less people this season, so it is a bit of a slug for them. I did see the Broncos are pretty keen to play the World Club Challenge still, which would be good if they can logistically make it work, because it's fallen through a couple times in the last few years. So it would be nice just to have that. I mean, also I'd like to see it for the Broncos, see if they can win a trophy. But would you like to see that happen again? Because there is talk that they are keen on it.
Well, I'd love it to be honest. Like you don't win a grand final every like every day type thing unless you're Panthers in the last 5 years. But like it's good. Let's give Walshy every medal that he can get. Let's get him a man of the match in every final, every big game. Like he's gonna have such a stacked trophy cabinet by the end of his career. It's gonna be crazy.
No, you're not wrong, man. Give him another one. Now, obviously there are two more games to go. The next two Sunday nights/mornings, depending on where you are in Australia. Now, the next one is at the new home of Everton, which is Hill Dickinson Stadium, and that game has been sold out for a while. So that will be exciting to see, just to see how it all plays out, to see if England can bounce back. You'd think there would be a little bit more pride on the line, and maybe Australia will get a bit complacent coming out there, think that they can just sort of get the job done again, right? Like there is a chance that could happen.
Yeah, I because we played bad, I like there is a chance that we are complacent, but because we played quite poor, I think Kevy's not going to let them just sit back and relax. He's going to be like, "Hey guys, we played pretty poorly. Let's actually show them what we can do." But
It's going to light a fire, you reckon?
I think so. But also at the same time, England, they're going to have to play out of their skin as well because it's not only like the series, it's pride as well because they'll pretty much embarrass. Like yeah, like as I said, like heaps of times, like we played poorly and we still never looked like losing at all. Like we had it under control the whole time.
No, that is a good point, mate. And look, it is going to be exciting for them. 52,000, I just read, that Hill Dickinson Stadium can hold, and that's already sold out. And they wrap it up in Leeds and Headingley, traditional rugby league heartland there in England. That's about 19,700. So that's going to be wrap up the Ashes. So hopefully, mate, you can wake up with your alarm for the next one. See how you go with that. Now, one game you didn't have to set your alarm for, and like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, it was one that potentially a lot of people were more excited about, and that was Tonga v Samoa at Suncorp Stadium, Sunday afternoon football, turned into a thunderstorm battle as well. But the atmosphere, mate, we've all said this for a couple of years now, once we saw how these Pacific nations treat it, to see those Tongan and Samoan flags. Now, just watching, I got to watch it live, the original, them coming out, doing the war dance, the war cry, and Junior Barlaw getting real passionate. It's just incredible scenes, and there's nothing else in rugby league quite like it. We've obviously always had the haka in rugby union, rugby league. That's always been special. But to have two teams sort of go back and forth and have their own versions, they didn't get in their face like you've seen it in years gone by or anything like that. But you really do get that sense of emotion, and the crowd goes nuts. Like I could see at the beginning when they were both trying to get it started, they had to wait because the crowd was just so loud that I don't even know they could hear each other. So eventually they got it off the ground. But is that what the most spine tingling thing that we have in rugby league at the moment?
I think it is outside of Origin. Like, I think it's incredible, and I think it's ridiculous how it's not played every year. Like, we should be strengthening this rivalry. Like, this could be like the origin for the Pacific nations. Like, this could be their origin almost. Like,
I guess it is turning into that, but like you said, it's not regular. But when it does happen, it does have that feel, doesn't it?
yeah, it definitely does. And I'm really going for Tonga to win this week, and then hopefully, because no, then Tonga. How do we get another Tonga Samoa final? Like, how do we get
I
that?
didn't I didn't do my mathematical calculations before I came on this podcast. But I think from what I understand, it's very hard for Tonga to make it. I mean, I guess they would just have to win really big, right? I don't know if they can because obviously
Yeah, it must
now
be. Yeah.
New Zealand's had a win, Samoa's had a win. I'll just bring up the points difference. So yeah, Tonga is on 0 points, with -28. So they would have to beat New Zealand they'd have to smash New Zealand.
To be honest, probably only have to beat them by like 20. It's still a lot, but
At Eden Park in Auckland as well.
yeah, but they get Tamalolo back. It's just let me dream. Let me
It's
dream.
going to be New Zealand Samoa, mate. It's going to be a rematch of the
Oh,
opening game, which, if that is the case, though, it was 24-18. Really, well, close game. Unfortunately, this game wasn't. I was talking to you about just a little bit before. Looking at these teams on paper, Dea Katoa leading from the halves, the types of players they have. I was thinking Tonga. I was
same,
backing Tonga,
same.
and then, and in hindsight, I mean, Payne Haas. That's probably all I need to say too. Just
Yeah.
Payne Haas. Jerome Luai, which I think I overlooked personally, with Brian To'o, his partner in crime. Um, just looking at the team, Roger Tavasashek at the back, Dean Mariner and Tungo in the centres, Murray Taulagi. I mean, there's representative and premiership winning quality. Aposta Park, Josh Papali'i, Payne Haas, Jeremiah Nanai. They played Terrell May off the bench. He only played 20 minutes, and he, behind Payne Haas was, as we know, as Supercoach players, the best props in the game
Yep. Yep.
this year. And to have the luxury of having him come off the bench. I know we did also say you look at Tonga and they're equally as stacked in the forwards and outside backs, and they did do it, but Samoa did a job.
They definitely did. I'm actually shocked because I was going hard on Tonga as well. Like, I just looking at their team on paper, like, look at that back row. Ali Katoa, Leka, Halasima, like, they were the two of the best second rows this year. Um, and I know Nanai killed it, but like, he wasn't that great this year. Like, he was still good, but like, oh man,
Mate,
it's just crazy.
Nane in this game, incredible, mate. The try he scored where he went up, we all know he's the best leaping forward in the game when it comes to high balls. He's proven that time and time again. He is. And then the second try to Grover himself when they were sort of just throwing the ball around, he was massive. And like you said, he's had it in different times, but on his day, he's the best attacking second row in the game, or if not, top three when he's on, because he knows how to score a try. But I will say Samoa's first couple tries, they were just incredible, crazy tries. Like they'd thrown the ball around, they were happy to get it around. Tonga just didn't have an answer for that.
To be honest, like obviously Samoa was really fired up. I think having that hit out last week probably helped them as well. Like,
That's true. Yeah, Tonga being a bit cold coming in. Samoa's already played a game against New Zealand.
yeah,
Quality opposition.
yeah, I think it did really help them. And I got to say, like, Junior Paulo, he killed it. Like he put on some big shots. He just had a huge game. So good to
So
see.
I wasn't surprised. Like just seeing, I mean, he's getting on, but you could see pre-game, you could see it in his eyes. You could just see with a lot of these players, but especially him, he was leading the war cry. You can see what it means to him, and I think to have the crowd there, like I read a lot of comments online saying this is the best atmosphere they've ever seen in rugby league, and people who have no connection to Tonga or Samoa, they want to go to this game. Right? You're in Brisbane, right? Like I had all the mates, the group chat was going off saying, like, we should go to this game next time, right? Because this is becoming like a spectacle that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, and 100%. Like I'm keen to go next time it's in Brizzy. Where's the final being played? Is that it?
So the final, I believe, is in Western Sydney,
Oh,
Parramatta Combank Stadium.
yeah.
So I might be able to go to that one, mate. But that's on November 9. So obviously got New Zealand Tonga this weekend at Eden Park. So they're hoping for a big crowd there. And then, hopefully get 25,000 to Western Sydney for the final. If it keeps growing, it's a shame they couldn't play it at somewhere like Allianz and get 40,000. But I don't know if the Sydney siders have quite the same passionate as the Brisbane sides just yet. But if they can at least pack out that stadium for the final, which is looking like it will be New Zealand Samoa, if anything crazy happens. But how special to see this? Like you said, there needs to be, and I think I saw the coaches come out pre-game and said that the NRL needs to treat these Pacific nations better now, because the way that they've been able to grow the game, the international game, because if it wasn't for Samoa and Tonga and the rise they've had, then it goes back to being Australia, New Zealand, and England sometimes sneak in. That was the top three the whole time we grew up watching rugby league. The World Cups previously, I went to the 2017 World Cup against England. Before that, I mean, New Zealand had that upset before that in, what was it, 2008 or whenever it was. But generally, it's just, Australia, New Zealand, sometimes New Zealand would put in a good game, sometimes Australia would just smash them. And then with England, they got through to that World Cup final, but generally they're just like the third little brother, poor little brother who's just not as good. And then to have Tonga and Samoa, obviously Samoa, Australia was the last World Cup final, which was pretty exciting. And then Tonga beat Australia, what was it, like 6-7 years ago now, which sort of kick-started this whole Pacific nation rise when Jason Tamalolo made that switch and guys like Andrew Fafita followed him. So it is special to see, man. You see all the flags in the streets and the horns and everything like that. So bring it on, man. Getting excited about international rugby league. I love it. I
It
love
is
it.
good. I do think we need to capitalize on it because that's the one thing rugby league doesn't really have and rugby union does have. Like, to be honest, it's the only thing rugby union has is the international game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need to sort out the eligibility to make, because you don't want players also, like, it's getting better, but you don't want players switching team every year, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You want them to be able to play for Tonga, stay with Tonga, build up that team, and like we need an international break every year too. I think as well. Like I think when the new teams come in, I would love to have like a Origin international like month or something in the middle of the
In the
season. Have a
middle of the season,
break.
yeah.
Then also the NRL's not being affected because like when Origin's on, half the teams, well, there's bye rounds, and the teams that do play, they're missing players. Like it's not the best quality. Plus, no one really cares at that time as well. Like it's all about Origin. Whereas if we had that break, we can all focus on international, all focus on Origin. I just think it's the right decision, but I just don't know if we're going to do it or when, if we do it. But yeah, what do you
No,
reckon?
that's a good point, mate. No, that's a good point, mate. I don't always agree. I know a lot of people have that view on the origin in the middle of the season. I don't really agree with that because I like having the shitter teams do a little bit better when they don't have origin players. And I don't mind that sort of NRL takes a back seat and it's sort of not as important as only a few games and it makes Supercoach a bit more interesting. Like I don't actually
Mm.
mind that aspect of it, like a leveler. I've always sort of looked at it that way, but I do get the point that's growing louder and louder. I like Origin. I'm a traditionalist. I like Origin being on those 3 Wednesday nights of the year. I know they tried the Sunday game 2 a few years ago. That didn't really seem to pan out and having that like week off or whatever. So there does need to be a solution, and it would be nice to have more regular international rugby league footy. I was upset when they postponed the World Cup originally. I think France pulled out of hosting it. So that will get back on track. Obviously, Mal Meninga was big on getting this Ashes series back together. And now that Tonga and Samoa are competitive, the Pacific Championships are exciting. you just need to see a few more teams go with it. But yeah, the rugby league, the NRL needs to come together and have a schedule, have a plan that's like 10 years, not just like a couple years.
Yeah.
They need to have like a 10-year plan, right? That actually plans out, these are the World Cups. Let's try and expand the World Cup and get it to different places, not just Australia, New Zealand, England. Let's try and actually really get interest from a different country or share it between a couple of sort of middle of the road countries. Unfortunately, Samoa and Tonga are a bit small. You can't have them there, but it would be awesome. They've got to try and come up with a bit of a solution for doing that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if it's mid-season, but I think at the very least, just a 10-year plan where there's something, they know what they're going to do. If they're going to do this Ashes series every 3 years, 4 years, have the World Cup set in stone, stop mucking around and delaying them and changing them, bring them forward, bring them back, whatever. Just have a plan, mate. That's call out to Abdo, Peter Vlandis, if you're listening. I'll send you the podcast, mate. But yeah, there does need to be something there. But anyway, the fact is, International Rugby League right now is the best it's been, I think, in memory since I've been alive. And it's looking good. To have this Ashes back, to have the Pacific Championships competitive, and the fact that Samoa and Tonga, you mentioned the eligibility, they're going to have to do something about Tier 1, Tier 2 nations and all that. Because Samoa, there's a clear, 5 Tier 1 countries now. It's Australia, New Zealand, England, Samoa, Tonga. They're all, you look at those teams, we just went through Samoa and Tonga, mate. They're Tier 1 nations now. And I know that's unfortunate for those Islander boys who want to still play Origin, because then it's going to mean, do they declare for Origin in Australia? Can they still play? That's the debate, right?
Well, that's the hard part, is because I think if a lot of the boys had a choice, they might actually. I don't know, but I'm going to assume Origin is such a big thing they don't want to miss out on that. So I don't know if they'd make that sacrifice. Maybe some do, but I just think we have to view it as two separate things. So if you're eligible for Origin, and then if you're eligible for a country, I think. So the Origin eligibility is like you got to play footy in the state by 16 or something like that. I think just keep it simple, keep it like that. Keep country separate, like they're two separate things. Like Origin isn't what it used to be. It used to be like Australia selection panel, not panel, like you're fighting for selection to get into
Like
the
an
Australia
audition.
team. Yeah, audition.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's bigger than international. Like Origin is the pinnacle of the game, and people can have passion and eligibility for Tonga and also New South Wales or Queensland. Like, I think that's fair enough. Like, I do want to draw the line at England though and New Zealand. Like, for some reason, I don't feel right about that, but I don't know why, because it's the same rule. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Wayne Bennett was strong on it early in the season, but I think, yeah, we've got to go with the times now. And the fact that, the Pacific Islanders do make Pacific Islands and the people that come from them do make up such a large chunk of rugby league players, and that's only growing, that number. There does need to be a change. I think it should be fine that if you're eligible for Queensland or New South Wales, then you have to select them, but that doesn't mean that you have to select Australia or whatever. It means you should be able to select any country you want to play for. That's what I believe, and that's how it should work. Origin and international game, if we're serious about the international game, they just have to be treated differently. We're not rugby union. We don't have that player pool where they, and they don't have Origin to worry about, so they don't care. But anyway, that is an interesting debate, mate. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I did just want to get to the last men's international rugby game. That was Papua New Guinea and the Cook Islands. They still got the job done from the weekend as well. There was 40-28, so pretty high scoring affair. Plenty of tries. Rob Darby scored a double. So yeah, that rounds out the international footy, mate. You excited for another round this weekend?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Tonga to win by 20 against New Zealand, so we get a Samoa-Tonga final.
You can dream.
I can dream, yeah. Fiji, PNG, that should be good. I think they've been the best two on that other side. It was a Pacific Cup. And the next England-Australia game, I'm really interested to see the team list, to be honest. I want to see if Brimson gets picked, or is he somehow like, does coach hate him? What did he do? Like, what's going on? I want to see a good game. I want to see a better showing. I want to see us play better, and I also want to see England play better as well. I still want us to smash them, but just better quality.
A decider would be nice. But I did also say on the previous pod as well, looking at the odds, I think England were $4 to win the series, and I thought, geez,
That's
it's just not going
low.
to happen.
That is low.
Yeah. If you're if you're an English fan, I think Australia's $1.20 to win the series. I mean, that was pretty good odds actually. You take 20 cents on the dollar. But yeah, I said on that they should have been $10, and I think that's only proven right now. I don't know they're probably 50 now, mate. But yeah, you'd think AJ Brimson. I guess that's the headline coming out of this. He has to be in that team. But bring it on, mate. International rugby league is back, and it is good to see sub those games this weekend. Aidan, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Always a pleasure.
Right.
Oh, I did. Yeah. I was going to have a pod later in the week of that, so tune in for that. But I was at work, so I mainly caught the main fight. I'm going to watch all the fights on replay. But yeah, obviously,
Such a
pretty
letdown,
insane.
bro.
Tom Aspinall waited all that time for this heavyweight fight, and then Cyril Gane double pokes him in the eye, and then Aspinall's a pussy.
No. Bro, but the funny thing is, like, Aspinall calls out John Jones for ages, basically gets a fight, which is like him versus John Jones, which is him getting poked in the eye. So, because John Jones does love an eye poke. He really does.
I have seen that come out a few times, but I also will say, and I did speak to this in my jiu-jitsu class earlier, but John Jones made Cyril Gane look very silly, and Cyril Gane looked pretty good against Tom Aspinall, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
That is true, but I would say Cyril Gane's probably improved a lot. And
yeah, it was. In all disclosure, it was 2 years ago. It was March 2023.
Yeah. And Aspinall's kind of just been in that waiting zone, waiting for Jones. Is he going to fight him? Is he not? Blah, blah, blah. Like, so yeah, he has to be one of the most unluckiest fighters. Like, just gets fucked around by Jones, fucked around by Dana, and then gets poked in the eye now. So he hasn't actually won like a proper championship fight yet. He's had to defend his interim twice, and now just things happen with him. He's so unlucky. He's just so unlucky.
I do just want to say before we go, though, do you think that he could have fought on? I know it looked pretty bad, and I've heard some things come out that the finger went like right deep in the eyeball or down to the knuckle or whatever it was be. But then I also seen some former fighters come out since and say sometimes you just have to fight with one eye. So look, it depends what camp you're in with that, but that was being thrown out there. Do you think he could have fought on?
Probably could have, but only he knows if he can see or not. And the thing I like about Tom is he doesn't bullshit. Like, he's just straight up with whatever. Like, even after the fight, he's very honest. So if he can't see, he can't see. Like, I personally think it's pretty wild how, like, if they did fight on, I don't think Cyril Gane loses a point. I don't think, like, it's at the point where it, like, probably should be a DQ, not a no contest. Like, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ref did a good job, but accidental. I know it's tough, but I think it comes back honestly to the gloves. You know, I've seen lots of things about the gloves. I mean, what do? You know, you say John Jones did a lot, but he had an unorthodox. I'm not going to get too deep into it. It's a bit unorthodox way of defending and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and it is a problem with the UFC gloves. So I think you've got to give one credit to Gane. Like, do you really think Gane's trying to use it to his advantage? He looked pretty heartbroken himself with the way that fight finished. Like, it looked like he was crying on his knees at the end of that fight. And I think he was pretty apologetic. He seems like a pretty genuine type of guy, Cyril Gane. And Aspinall, like you said, yeah, one of the unluckiest runs in any division we've ever seen. But yeah, I do think that John Jones debate just comes up a little bit more now because it was interesting. John Jones made Cyril Gane look like a little teddy bear. So
Yep, and now obviously John Jones is talking shit because
Alex Pereira at the White House. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's make the heavyweight division great again. And on that note, Aidan, thank you very much for joining us again on Season Ticket Holders. Always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you, Dane. Good to be here. Looking forward to UFC potty on the weekend.
It's all John Jones, baby. No. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening. Take care. You can follow us on socials. I do apologize in the last episode too. We did have a few little audio issues, so hopefully we won't run into that again. But give us a like, give us a follow. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.